What's up, you guys? It's your boy, Mr. MMPR here, and today we are going to do a 25-year career of The Undertaker, one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. And here I'm going to do a top 10 list moments and storylines of my choice of something that I grew up with. Now, let's start things off with a bang. Number 10, Undertaker versus Mankind. From the first time that Mankind debuted in the World Wrestling Federation in 1986, that's when him and Undertaker had the greatest rivalry of all time, leading up to 1998's Hell in a Cell match at King of the Ring. One of my all-time favorite moments when the first match of In Your House. It took Undertaker to the limit. It made Undertaker the way he is now. Then, the second match that I like was the most memorable matches in SummerSlam history, the Boiler Room Brawl. Yes, I'm talking about the Boiler Room Brawl that started the hardcore match between him and Mankind. And the moment when Paul Bearer turned on him, I knew something was about to be good when I first seen it. Like, if I can replay that video way back then all over again, I know it's got to be one of the greatest storylines of all time. Leading up to the next night on Raw, when Paul Bearer was being interviewed with Jim Ross and Mankind about last night's match. The lights go out, and the Undertaker came out with his druids. He set up, got in the ring, does like this with his eyes rolled back of his head. That was one of those rare moments I would never ever forget. Even though I didn't see it as a kid from back in the mid-2000s, when I first seen it, I was like, okay, this guy's legit. Now I know why everybody was afraid of him. I sure wasn't. But that's one of my best moments I'll never forget. Leading up to Hell in a Cell match. That's one of the ultimate matches I'll never forget. One of the greatest of all time. Number 9. Undertaker versus Bret Hart. Now, if you can recall when Bret Hart turned heel in 97, when he turned heel because he was claimed that the WWE/F was just treating him like crap. You know how the business is nowadays. The storylines with him and Bret Hart leading up to SummerSlam was okay. But I will never forget that match because it was so good that you just can't stop watching it. The promos, the storylines were just pure excellent. We're talking about classic WWF, World Wrestling Federation. I still don't understand why they don't do that no more nowadays, though. It would have been awesome if they do that. But nonetheless, best storylines, best match of all time, and who could forget? Just pure awesome. Number 8, Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. Boy, oh boy, these two had one of the best rivalries of all time. Started with 97 when Shawn Michaels cost the Undertaker the title at SummerSlam. Leading up to In Your House Ground Zero, that match was brutal. A little bit boring, but good. Then led to Hell in a Cell match. Now that was brutal. We're talking pure extreme. Blood, action, thrown from top of the cell. Then almost winning the match until Kane debuted. I'm gonna talk about that in the near future. Undertaker versus Stone Cold. Again, greatest rivalries of all time. Now, if you recall, Undertaker versus Stone Cold started in 1996. They never really had a rivalry, but it was just like his first match with Undertaker. I believe he wrestled him twice. This is the second time he wrestled the Undertaker. Stone Cold did mention in the interview that he almost crapped his pants by fighting him. Yeah, we all know how scary he was back then, and he is now. Undertaker was the star of the 90s, so there's nobody else that can top that. So, my favorite moments with Undertaker Stone Cold was the first blood match. Jim Ross really let out of his soul. Went all of his soul, just screaming, "You God Almighty, shaming me with a steel chair." Yeah, that was Jim Ross, one of the best commentators of all time. Michael Cole, I'm sorry, but sorry. Anyways, again, First Blood match was awesome. I like it. I love it. Attitude Era forever. You can never replace that. Undertaker Stone Cold had one of the best rivalries. I mean, he fought Stone Cold for the title at SummerSlam, lost that. Him and Kane fought Stone Cold. Don't know who won the title, even though that match was kind of confusing. Then him and Kane fought for the title. Stone Cold was special guest referee. Nobody won, so we still don't know. I don't care. Then him and Undertaker fought in the I believe it's Rock Bottom, when him and Stone Cold had a Buried Alive match. Yeah, that was in late '98, in December of '98, and one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. First time I seen Undertaker get buried alive. He won his first one. I forgot to say that during this Mankind though, but still. Yeah, man. They had a great rivalry up until 2002. I believe that's when the rivalry started. But it's still a classic to me, regardless. So, I don't know what y'all talking about. Next, we have number 6, Undertaker versus Triple H. Now, this leads to 2000, and we leave 2001 WrestleMania 17 when Undertaker versus Triple H. That match was good, man. 16,925 fans in Houston, where Undertaker's from. Dude, you cannot beat that crowd. And the match with Undertaker and Triple H, one of the all-time greats. From fresh out of Attitude Era, not PG. Screw PG. Fresh out of Attitude Era, regardless. Talking about brutal. Amazing match. Leading to 2 WrestleMania matches from 2011 to 2012, the end of an era match. That was so awesome to have Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee. I mean, that was one of the greatest moments I will never ever forget. Believe that. Pure awesome. Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, number 5. Okay, they first met in 2002. I forgot the match they fought. I believe it was a one-on-one match. I believe the Undertaker lost to him. I don't know. But Undertaker did lose to Brock Lesnar in a Hell in a Cell match. That match was just straight up brutal. I loved it. Hands down, actions left and right, throwing steps. Undertaker sacrificing his body from his broken right hand to try to beat the crap out of Brock Lesnar, knowing that he was going to lose, but he did. But that match was still good regardless. Especially in the Ruthless Aggression era. Blood pouring down from his head, him and Brock Lesnar. It was just pure awesome. Like, I love every minute of it. So, yeah. Number 4, Undertaker versus Kane. One of the famous storylines of the Attitude Era between Undertaker and Kane. All started with Paul Bearer wanting Undertaker to come back. If you think he was going to expose Undertaker for the murder that he is of murdering his family, and eventually murdering his brother Kane in a house fire in 1987, and which led to Kane's debut in Bad Blood. I mean, he did an amazing, epic entrance, epic debut, tombstone his brother Undertaker, which led to WrestleMania 14. Greatest storylines ever, just pure awesome. Then in an Inferno match in Your House Unforgiven, I like that. Fast forward years later in 2004, which led to WrestleMania 20. WrestleMania 20 was kind of the worst because of the crowd. I mean, even though it's Madison Square Garden, like I expected to see more live crowd reactions from it, but it turns out that it was just pure quiet, like during the classroom or something, like you're in church and you try to listen to the pastor, where you try to say, yeah, those are the type of crowds that we had in 2004 in WrestleMania 20. It is what it is, man. Might as well just accept it. But later to 2010, when Undertaker Kane fought for the very last time in the Brady Live match, he lost to his brother twice in that year, which one was the worst years of my life. Of him, of course. But nonetheless, greatest moments, greatest storylines ever. Number 3, Undertaker versus Edge, leading to WrestleMania 24. Cool, great, awesome. Undertaker won that. Then he lost his very last match with Edge in the, I believe, over the Edge in ladders in a tables match. I don't know, but nonetheless, I think that he lost. But then Vicky Guerrero rehired him, leading up to SummerSlam. Again, good match. Undertaker won that. Good, cool, amazing. Number 2, Undertaker versus The Rock. Now, we all know how they started when The Undertaker and The Rock first fought in 1997. In December, I believe it was December of 1997, when Undertaker was going to win the match until Kane came out, Paul Bearer forcing Undertaker to fight his brother. Dumb. That match was okay, but not good, but it was okay. Then, at the King of the Ring, 1989, pure awesome. The crowd was a little bit generic. I don't know what you call it though, but yeah, I think that's one of those matches that I like the most because of the Attitude Era. 1999 was at its peak of that year, so what did you expect? So, yeah, Undertaker still, he was still champion at the time, so I can't hate on that. Still cool though, by the way. And number 1, Undertaker versus Undertaker SummerSlam 1994. All started in 1994 at the Royal Rumble when Undertaker was lost to Yokozuna in a casket match. Everybody put Undertaker in a casket match, which he lost. Then came back in August of 1994 at SummerSlam when him and Undertaker fought. Memorable moments, greatest moment of all time. I will never ever forget in the early 90s. So, like I said, man, Undertaker is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and you know what? Before I end this video, I just want to say the message to the dead man, Mark Undertaker. Just want to say to you, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And you know what? The Wyatt brothers will rest in peace.